Welcome back to Business Insight. We would like to hear from you, your feedback on this bulletin today. Send us your feedback on KBC Channel 1. Now to matters East Africa, where the East African community has started the process to admit Somalia and the Democratic Republic of Congo into the trading bloc. EAC Principal Secretary Dr. Kevit Desai believes that if admitted, the mineral-rich DRC, which has a population of 90 million people, would help expand the market for EAC to 240 million people, growing inter-trade and business opportunities within the EAC. Admission would help DRC leverage the manufacturing and product standardization capacities in EAC, as well as access the ports for exports. Earlier, I had a chat with Dr. Desai about what admission of Somalia and DRC means for EAC. Having the chairmanship now, what are the areas of priority, and are we likely to see a different approach?
Indeed, Cynthia, I think that we are looking at a new situation, a new approach, but towards the same common goals of creating greater inclusivity of the entire East African community. And what that means is promoting the necessary equity so that all stakeholders, all citizens of the EAC can actually benefit from the EAC, whether it's from a social perspective, where they're able to not only move freely, but also carve out livelihoods and be recognized for their potential and be able to amplify that potential within the community, but also within the context of commerce, the ability to amplify your existing trade, commerce and industry and service sector, and find ways in which we're able to promote that development inclusivity for environmental issues, the ability to own natural resources, but also promote that conservation and benefit. The areas of the vision include the ability for us to promote greater self-reliance at a time when we need to, especially in these COVID-19 times, have the ability to promote greater intra-trade, manufacture and depend on the economies more by way of our economy, find solutions not only from an economic perspective but also from health, promoting universal health care, creating greater security across our borders, ensuring that the resilience of our countries is enhanced by the mere fact that we work as a bloc, we solve problems together, we are able to leverage and promote the necessary transformation.
What are the benefits of DRC joining the EAC?
Well, it increases existing diversity, which is in abundance within the EAC, now increases it manyfold. DRC comes in with approximately 90 million people, which in addition to around 150 million is a huge bloc.
Yes.
And as it is, the EAC is the 8th largest bloc, but this would make it transformational. But it's also an opportunity for DRC to realize its aspirations, being a very resource-rich country, its ability to leverage from the East African community's manufacturing capacities, its standardization capabilities. Over the last year, we have introduced 50 new standards to 1,500 standards. And that ability for us to use the ports, the direct access to world port systems and transportation systems, in addition to the ability to promote greater movement of people, their skills, their competencies. And so the membership is mutually beneficial.
And have they met the requirements?
Well, this is now in process at the last, at the Heads of Summit.
Yes.
This was discussed, and indeed the pronouncement was that both the DRC and Somalia would be explored by way of seeing to it that they meet requirements of commonality and the ability for them to have the necessary structures and capacities to join the East African community. And in the last sectoral council for ministers for Planning and Affairs, it was decided that a verification mission be established. And indeed, it's this week and the next week which enables us to ensure that we are able to now start the entire process and the formalities for their membership.
Is the inclusion likely to stabilize the country, DRC, especially politically?
Yes, I think so. I think that certainly from an economic perspective, we'll see gains by way of ensuring that they'll be able to arrive at their aspirations more efficiently in a risk-free, mitigated environment, which enables them to promote greater wealth and opportunities for export and trade and value addition to their existing business people. It'll help formalize and promote greater efficiency in the day-to-day operations of commerce, trade and services. This will have an impact by way of creating greater sustainability for a country. And this ability to invest and have access to much larger markets is really a fundamental issue in terms of political developments and meeting the visions, the sovereign visions and the regional visions of the area. So this would be really the starting point, the ability to promote greater resilience, self-reliance, development inclusivity to the opportunities that exist. And certainly the social aspects will have a huge impact by way of ensuring that citizens within the EAC and DRC, Congo, can move and also seek opportunities by way of livelihoods, but also share cultural experiences and key areas of diversity which would enrich partner states, but also the ability for their political systems to be supported by a confederation within the East Africa and ultimately a federation. This would also be supported by way of ensuring that they're able to promote greater development politics and their whole area, but from a very solid base of the economy and the movement of people.
To my last question, a lot of times there's been discussion for many years about the EAC, but a lot of times people don't really have an understanding, especially the public, of what are the benefits of the EAC. We're seeing the youth getting into starting their own businesses. How does the EAC plan to educate people about the benefits and especially reach out to the youth?
This is one of the key areas that we would like to address within the chairmanship of His Excellency President Kenyatta, where, through his pronouncement, he's talking about areas of greater economic activity through value chains, the free movement of people, the ability for us to promote ICT connectivity and a one network area. All of this has an enhancing role by way of ensuring that more benefits are acquired, but also accessible by all. As we speak, there's a lot of trade that goes on across borders.
Yes.
In fact, I'm very proud to say that it's the women that lead the overall engagement, through their ideas, their business acumen, their ability to create relationships, create markets, and do trade. And I think that this is precisely what we need to amplify, and what that means is that we'll need to put technology at the forefront. As we speak, it's only 12% of African roads that are tarmac today. The ability for us to promote value addition depends on processing capacities, promotes technology transfer. The ability for us to connect seamlessly from port to market or produce areas requires us to bring down the cost and time of transportation. All of these benefits need to be prioritized within the EAC in order to make it more equitable and accessible by all. The other aspect, indeed, you're right, the youth and the common medium age within the EAC is around 17.5, which means that, out of 170 million people indeed, by far the greatest majority is the youth, and they need access to opportunities, indeed, but the opportunities will be created by agreeing on developing markets in a systematic way, harmonizing policies, legislations, regulations, standards, promoting that cohesiveness with the infrastructure, the coordination capacity, as well as the ability for us to build capacity, skills and talent, and promoting that innovation. We've seen a lot of demonstration by the youth, and indeed the ability for them to be involved and invest and think beyond, their individual respective countries is absolutely critical. They need to imagine the EAC as their source of livelihood, and their ability to promote their creativity, their curiosity, and their ability to find ways in which they're able to carve out that livelihood. So this can happen if we focus on the Common Market Protocol, the ability to re-establish it. At the last meeting in Arusha, the last ministerial meeting, it was agreed that we will once again relook at the transformation of the Common Market Protocol. This will be done through a very inclusive process. And this time round, what will be different is that we will be looking at the individual elements.
Well, the voting